in the Korean qualifier, and that one was extremely stacked. He just hasn't really done a whole lot. And even at the Home Story Cup, you know, Seed made it into the quarterfinals, but then he lost 3-0 against Asia, and that's just kind of like, you forget about performances like that. So this is a really important tournament for Seed. Are we finally going to be talking about Seed again for a long time, or is it going to be the spectacular return of viOLet on US soil? One way or the other, I think we're gonna you know, watch a really entertaining PvZ quarterfinals, best of 5.
Will the Seed grow into a beautiful tree and perhaps get a lot more recognition by taking home the championship here at the Lone Star Clash 3? We're gonna find out. I know we have a lot of fans for both of these two players. And when I introduce, I want to hear your supports, beginning with in the bottom right-hand location, your red Zerg player, one of the most kindest players you'll ever meet. Go try to have a conversation with him. He can speak English. He is viOLet.
And over here in the left top side of the map, we have the former GSL Code S champion, currently teamless. He is Seed.
And we have the meta war happening here. Of course, we have a battle between forces on the map, where there's also a battle of words.
Yeah, this is already getting really interesting. Now, of course, to just explain what the players were talking about in the start of the game, Seed set bad position, because there's two ways that Waystation can play out. Either you spawn on the locations that the players are currently spawning, or they would be over here and over here. Obviously, this rush distance is a lot shorter, so that makes two-base pushes a lot stronger for Protoss. And if you just take a look at this map, you know, all right, you would be like, Protoss can take a natural, what's wrong with it? Well, the third place is very wide open, it's very far away. This is even further away, so in general, it's very hard to consider for a Protoss player to go up to 3 bases. And on the other side of the map, we actually see viOLet bossing out the 10 pool, which is a really interesting opening, not something I necessarily expected from him.
No, you're absolutely right, especially considering the distance too, of course. The main purpose of early lanes in this matchup, of course, you want to get probe kills. That's going to be a big thing. And of course, if there's no early gateway or forge, if there's just a nexus,
this is going to be really bad.
And the reason you went for this fast expand, and correct me if I'm wrong, is mostly because just the massiveness of the map, especially considering these positions.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a meta build. We all know that this build is extremely risky. You go Nexus first with no scout and no forge just yet. He's also going to follow it up with a gateway. That means that his Zealot or anything is going to be incredibly late. Obviously, it's going to be faster than if he would have dropped the forge. But with the forge, at least he could stabilize. He could get a cannon up in the middle line, and then at least he will be able to defend one base. There's almost no way that he's going to be able to keep this Nexus alive. I have no idea how Seed is going to try to handle this, but if I was viOLet, this is exactly the build that viOLet is hoping to face. You know, no wall off, Nexus first on the low ground, no scout. This couldn't be any better for a Zerg player. I think this is going to be extremely tough for Seed. I wonder when viOLet is going to research speed, if he's going to do that in the near future. But even if he doesn't, with just a lot of slow lanes, this is already going to be extremely difficult for Seed to handle.
I think the beauty of this build for viOLet is that, sure, he's investing a lot, but it's not like you know, any sort of all-in investment. He definitely has a game plan behind this. Just getting a few links early, just to apply some pressure, and we'll see what kind of damage he can do to make it worth it. Of course, there's a lot of arguments you can make. But killing this Nexus is definitely going to make this worth it.
Yeah, exactly. If he just kills the Nexus, because on the other side of the map he does have the hatchery go down, that would already be good enough. And first, Zealot is about to spawn. Probes being pulled to the low ground. Seed has to be very careful with how he wants to do this. How many slow links do we have on the map? 10. Actually, that is a number that a Zealot and Probes can fight, but the micro is going to have to be excellent from Seed. This can get really dicey really soon.
So there's a couple things happening here. Seed is desperately trying to keep viOLet from attacking his Nexus. And viOLet's trying to decide, okay, do I attack the Nexus or attack the Probes? Because he loves killing Probes. So that's the kind of the game of cat and mouse that's happening right now. Wants to always keep, I think, one Ling attacking the Nexus, but also wants to have enough firepower to deal with the Zealot and the Probe. And viOLet getting a good amount of Probe kills, but Seed being fancy should be able to preserve that Nexus. If you lose that Nexus, you're going to lose the game.
This is pretty much best case scenario for Seed. He doesn't really lose a whole lot of probes. We'll end up losing one more probe. But Seed did a really good job there in not committing to the fight. He only sent the Zealot and the probes. And whenever the Zerglings turned around, he ran away again, buying time. And until he had that second Zealot, because viOLet didn't make any additional links, it was still just 10 links. And obviously 2 Zealots and probes can't fight against 10 slow links. That was very well done by Seed, and I'm a little bit surprised that viOLet didn't make a few more slow links, because that would have actually got the job done.
Yeah, I think Seed did a great job defending there. viOLet going for the cheeky tactics a little bit, getting those early lings out and trying to apply some pressure and get the game momentum to kind of go to his favor. But now, we're going to see some transitioning from these players. Of course, it remains to be seen what kind of path they're going to go along. The important thing to note is, as far as how they compare to each other, we see 32 Harvesters, I think the 26 there from Seed. Of course, viOLet's going to be prioritizing the drones, so it's natural that he's a little bit ahead in that drone count. But, you know, no one has an amazing advantage right now. That's what you want to take out of this, and we'll have to see where they go from here.
This is really cool as well, because right now, for us, you know, it's very easy to analyze the state of the game, but I can guarantee you, if you're a Protoss player in this phase, you are so worried, because he doesn't know if there's
he
doesn't know if there's a hatchery, he doesn't know how many drones there are here, above all, he doesn't know if speed is on the way or not. He wants to move out, because obviously he just doesn't want to let viOLet build as many drones as he can, but he also has to be extremely careful, because what if there are actually 18 or 24 speedlings out on the map,
he doesn't know.
And these units are out of position? Either he has to recall or walk home. Either way, he will be pretty much dead. So this is like a tricky position for Seed to play from. He wants to scare viOLet, but at the same time, he is extremely scared.
No, that's a fantastic point. He doesn't want to take any risks at this point, and you know, that's another purpose there for viOLet, getting that map control, keeping his opponent guessing. Again, bringing the momentum of the game into his favor. Also, behind this, he's taking that third base. So while Seed might be thinking, okay, there might be some hyper-aggression, viOLet is actually being super economical right now, taking that third, getting a bunch of drones on the map, trying to set himself up for a solid mid to late game.
You know, with these 4 gateways, at least Seed will be able to apply a little bit of pressure, because he finally has like a wall off, so he can just leave his Zealot behind. Then he can move out. I don't think he has any ambitions at all to win the game with these 4 gateways, but what he does want to do is force out as many units as possible, and above all, figure out what the hell is going on in this game, because, you know, he just does not know.
No, he doesn't know. Maybe hallucinated something would be pretty cool sometime soon. Some Lings swinging in here. They almost have speed. Probably want to wait for that to kick in. There's the hallucinated Phoenix, and the Lings, very sadly, going to be running up against the flashlights of the sentries there. So, but Seed's going to get his first intel in this game.
Yeah, viOLet, if I was Seed, I would really be a little more aggressive, even though it's obviously scary, but he has given so much time to viOLet. If we take a look at the state of the game right now, viOLet on 63 workers against a Protoss that only has 4 gateways, no additional tech. There is a Forge going down, and now Twilight Council will be wiped in as well, but he's just going to go up to 3 bases. That is interesting, but this is a really hard map to eventually stabilize on 3 bases. But then again, because the layer is so late from viOLet, because he, you know, he had to recover from the economic damage he dealt to himself early on with that 10 pool. It makes sense, and right now Seed doesn't have to worry about a whole lot, because hey, without a layer, you know, what are you going to do? The only thing you can make is speedlings. Slow roaches are not all that scary. So
yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. And also something here to kind of give some credit to Mr. In Control. I think he coined this term a little bit. As far as sharking is concerned, you Protoss players at home, what Seed's doing here, like kind of going to the watchtower, kind of moving around with his army, trying to show some map presence, trying to keep the Zerg player viOLet on his toes a little bit, because whenever you're a Zerg player and you see like 8 sentries even coming moderately close to your side of the map, some alarm bells might be starting to go off. It might encourage you to make a few more units, a little bit less drones, which is kind of what Seed is looking for. Obviously, it's very important to stay safe while you're doing this, so you try to stay on your side of the map, but try to act threatening, to try to throw the pacing of the game into a loop for a bit.
Good scout over here by Seed. He sees pretty much everything that he has to see, and viOLet is producing a lot of units. viOLet doesn't have a massive economy or tech behind it. It's okay, but it's not great. Seed is not paying attention. Those forces are a little late to the party, but in the long run, they will be good enough. Not a single sentry went down. If I was Seed, I would just go back a little bit, wipe in a few more units, rely on a photon overcharge, and then he should be fine.
Don't want to lose any sentries.
Yeah, now he's locking himself out. So
oh no, probes, you're going the wrong way. Okay, turn around, yeah. Roach is advancing toward the natural expansion here. Let's see what they look to kill.
Speed is about to kick in for these roaches, +1 is 50 seconds off. Photon overcharge actually didn't go down yet in the other base. viOLet is going to go for this Nexus. That's an interesting position. He is going to get it, but you know, we have to ask ourselves at what cost. Time Warp is going to go down, force fields maybe as well. Very well done here by Seed.
Roach is all going to get taken out. He did take out the Nexus though in a few units. So overall, I think viOLet's going to be pretty happy with that trade, especially considering, look at all these units he still has, reinforcing across the map, getting straight in the face of Seed here, really making his presence known in this game #1.
It is reasonable, but above all, he just has roaches, and he's going to go up against Blink Stalkers soon.
That's true. That's true.
And I mean, Seed does have this base already. Like, if Seed would only be on 2 bases, then I think it would be a lot better. Seed has to make sure that he doesn't lose any Stalkers anymore. Blink is still not ready.
Blink finish.
Wow.
Finish, Blink, finish. Okay, force field's going down here, trying to split up those roaches, but viOLet's still getting a good amount of kills there, taking down some more sentries. Blink is finally done, so now Seed gonna turn things around and get some damage done onto those Roaches. But overall, how do you kind of think that went for both players?
I think that went as good for viOLet in the long run as it could have possibly gone, because it looked like he was going to get the next, but he was going to lose all the Roaches. Then the moment that Blink would be ready, I felt that Seed could just walk across the map and win. However, he lost so many Stalkers that he can't really do this anymore. And he was forced to warp in so many additional sentries, and again he's going to lose these sentries. Look how close these Roaches are getting. They're really not supposed to be that close to these Stalkers. Wow, viOLet is just kind of overrunning Seed over here with pure Roaches, with a +1 upgrade. This was not supposed to go that well for viOLet, in my opinion.
Yeah, viOLet's just making a bunch of Roaches and getting in Seed's face. Seed, I mean, he has Blink, he has some Stalkers out, is going to fend this off for now. But again, if we consider momentum and just sheer army composition here, viOLet has everything to deal with what Seed is throwing at him.
It is 81 supply against 24 right now when we're talking about army supply. There are so many Roaches. You can Blink, Stalker, Micro all you want right now, but there are just a few too many Roaches, and I think that this is going to be it. I think this will be the end of game 1, and it seems like our Zerg player viOLet is going to pick up a quick and easy win here on Way Station, which didn't have to end like this. GG.
Wow. viOLet, very calm, very cool. Nothing too complicated. We didn't see Swarm host that game. Just a very straightforward strategy with the early Lings to get that initial damage done, and just following it up with the Zerg Swarm, a bunch of Lings and Roaches.
Yeah, I mean, I always want to give credit